So we understand that we want to cultivate curiosity going into a transition, or when we think that our hypotheses are going to be challenged and tested and disproven, we want to have a disposition of curiosity and a flexible, adaptable mindset. We started with an acute hypothesis, whether it was a fist bump or an office situation or a car parking situation or not finding the right item in the grocery store. But I think what's cool about this is we start the unit of analysis as a single hypothesis being tested and being disproven or proven, and what that affects, how that affects us. But if we pull back from that, we think about transition as is really a change in time or space or an environment or the stimulus that we're experiencing in our environment. So it is an opportunity where maybe multiple hypotheses are going to be tested in a way that haven't been tested prior to that. So when you think about transition like that and knowing that the brain is constantly running these hypothesis tests, well, transition pre-20 or in 2020 going to 2021, or working from home to working in the office, or trying to figure out having new kids in your life, or whatever the situation is, it's not this thing that you have to tackle all at once. That transition, or the idea of transition, is a narrative that we apply onto a grouping of hypotheses being tested or being challenged. And so I think that's an important point, because we want to ultimately take all of this, what we're talking about, and pressure test it. How are we going to distill this down to real-time tools that we can use when we find ourselves in a challenging circumstance, or when we know that there's something is on the horizon, that we're going to have to face something in the not too distant future? What are the things that we can do? And one of the first things that we talked about in real time, when you're experiencing your hypotheses are being challenged, Andrew said, knowing this, having this idea of this disposition of I wonder why, or curiosity, this inclination to be curious about a response or a hypothesis that's challenged, I think is a great starting point. Simply just knowing how the brain is functioning and knowing that this hypothesis testing, being proven or disproven, exists, can equip you and arm you so that when you find yourself holding on to what should be, maybe you're better able to say, well, instead of what should be, let's think about what is, and how can I move forward from what is and not what should be. And again, cultivate curiosity in real time. The other thing that you can do in real time that I think is interesting is notice this in other people. And so we've all been in a situation where we see someone get super agitated or irritated. Maybe it's in the grocery store, in a parking lot, or it's an element of road rage or whatever. You can see it in real time in other people. They're responding in a way that you would say, well, that doesn't seem reasonable. That doesn't match with what I think their response would be. Well, you know now that, well, actually their hypotheses are being challenged, and they're stuck in this mindset of, well, this should be this way based on their previous experience. And so maybe that changes the way that you engage with that person, or at least have some empathy to what they're experiencing.